Well, we continue to track our winter storm as it moves through the southeast, and we're looking ahead beyond this as to what's next. Will the cold last? I think there's a break on the way, and we get rid of some of the cold that just hurts your face, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you're like me and it hurts your head. It is cold, bone-chilling cold. We will see a bit of a break once this storm moves by and the weather pattern starts to change. But some heavy snow here into eastern North Carolina. Interesting to look at the winter weather advisories and the winter storm warnings now. And, you know, I said this in the morning video. I said, you got to watch up here into southeast Virginia. And now you've got winter storm warnings that came up today from Norfolk to Virginia Beach here, right along the southeast corner of Virginia. Winter weather advisories to the north and west of that, up towards Hampton Roads. It does go up towards Williamsburg and then back down here to the south towards Suffolk and then along the North Carolina line. Just northwest of Rocky Mount, we've got winter weather advisories for Raleigh, but I think you've got to watch this area for some heavier banding of snow. We've seen that pretty much with this storm the entire time, and you've now got winter storm warnings from Greenville to Fayetteville to Wilmington to Jacksonville south here, and it's been snowing pretty much a good part of the afternoon further to the south. So let's look at where we are going ahead in time. Once we move through the overnight, this moves offshore and heading into Wednesday. By Wednesday afternoon, with the exception of the Outer Banks, the snow's over and we turn our attention back here with some light snow moving through the Great Lakes. This isn't going to be a big snow, but we'll keep the lake effect going as a reinforcing shot of some cold air moves in behind that. A quick look at some of the accumulations. Most of this back here is already fallen or is in the process of falling. This is the official forecast from the National Weather Service. You know, when you see 5 to 8 inches across the Outer Banks, that's pretty impressive. And even up here towards Norfolk, you know, you're looking at 4 or 5 inches of snow. And down toward Raleigh, those numbers drop a little bit, but I want to show you something. Again, keep in mind here along the coast, the official forecast is for a good 2 to 5, maybe even up to 6 inches of snow. Look what the newest NOAA model does. It's banding out some heavier snow, 8, 9, 10 inches of snow in some areas up here in the northeast North Carolina from Greenville out to the coast. That includes the Outer Banks. The HRRR also on board with the idea of some of these heavier bands. So I think there could be some over performance in some areas with some deeper snow. As we head through the overnight, the snow continues to go here into South Carolina, up into North Carolina. We'll also see it start to pick up across southeast Virginia. It's going to have a pretty sharp cutoff line to the northwest. So Greensboro back to Charlotte, we start to see the snow move out, really. It didn't really move into Greensboro, I guess, but we'll continue to see the line push off to the east. But right here along the coast, the snow stays heavy through the overnight, and by Wednesday morning, everything starts to wrap up. Further to the north, let's look toward the Great Lakes. We've got that lake effect snow going now with some winter storm warnings here into parts of Michigan, some lake effect snow warnings going downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. This next system is going to bring a coating of snow for just about everybody here in this region outside of the lakes too. So 1 to 2 inches possible, a little heavier though on the Canadian side. And then as we head into the overnight too, there'll also be a little bit of light snow here into the Appalachians, into parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio. Now that takes you through Thursday. I want to back you up and show you this snow here that we're talking about. Again, into parts of Kentucky, even parts of Virginia. Could cause a slick commute because it's going to be very, very cold in these areas when you wake up tomorrow morning with some of the coldest air of the season for some of these places. I'm backing you up. I want to show you where we were this morning. Temperatures up in this region 20 to 30 below. As we moved through the day today, the wind started to change a little bit to more of a, I guess, a westerly component. So you're getting rid of some of that Arctic air and you're replacing it with just cold air. So now we're in the teens. You may actually get close to 30 up towards Minneapolis heading into Wednesday, but here comes another blast of cold air moving south. This one is not as strong, but more cold air on the way. I don't want to not pay attention here across Louisiana. Look at these lows heading into Wednesday morning. You talk about a hard freeze. You're seeing numbers here from Houston all the way along the coast modeled out in the lower teens. This is extremely cold weather. This is some of the biggest snow we've seen since 1960. So pretty wild and pretty cold here across the south with that fresh snowpack on the ground. And the problem is with a lack of snow removal equipment, with several inches of snow on the ground and high temperatures on Wednesday barely getting up to freezing, not much melting is going to be going on here across the south. Heading into Wednesday, we continue to see that northwest flow and temperatures are cold. However, there will be some warming. Now we're close to 35 to 40, but you're not talking 60 or 70, so not a huge warm up on the way. There's that really cold air. It doesn't dig south. In fact, as we head toward the weekend, warmer temperatures start to be felt at first across Texas. We're back up close to 50 here for Dallas and Houston, so some melting going on. It refreezes at night. Even where you see melting here in the deep south, you get that black ice threat through the overnight hours. And if you think about it, remember, if you've not removed the snow, you just compact it down. Finally, I think by Sunday, we get close to 60 and we start to melt some of this with some rain moving north into some of these areas. Again, some of the coldest air of the season here from Pittsburgh down into West Virginia. Lows tonight could be in the mid-teens in some of the coldest valleys. It wouldn't shock me. And that also includes interior sections here into the northeast. As we move into Wednesday, temperatures start to warm up some here from the Tennessee Valley into the Appalachians. We're not dropping below zero, it looks like, as we head into Wednesday night. A lot of folks, again, into western North Carolina still without homes, and you just hate to see this type of situation set up with the cold and knowing that folks are out in it. Hopefully, shelters are open. I've not gotten a lot of news out of this area, but it's a tough situation. The folks that are still cleaning up from Helene, the hurricane back, months and months ago now, and still without homes. Heading into Friday and Saturday, cold air moving through the Ohio Valley, temperatures dropping back below zero again in some cases early Friday morning, and we start to get rid of some of that cold that I said hurts as we head into Saturday. Look at this. We might push into the 30s here from Indianapolis over to Columbus. The really cold Arctic air kind of getting pushed to the north here. But one thing that I'm noticing, in the long term, not a huge warm up, but we're not going to see this big Arctic blast that we've seen. A bit of a change. In fact, I may take the channel here and just go quiet. I'll go away for a little while. We get boring for the rest of the week. I hope you guys will come back. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm Travis. We're going to talk about, again, what I think is going to happen in the long term, but I appreciate you coming by. If you're hitting this channel, if you made it this far, I hope it means you enjoy it. You like this kind of stuff. I used to be a chief meteorologist years ago on television, so come back. I've been out of that business for years. I like watching this kind of stuff, so hope you'll subscribe and support the channel. Let's look at the rest of the week. I mean, again, compared to what we've seen lately, this is pretty quiet. Some light snow here into the northeast, maybe some much needed moisture across the far southwest as we head into the weekend. That could actually put some snow into Southern California, into Arizona too. Still some time before we get there. This is the newest data that just came out. This takes you through Sunday. I'm going to back up to the midday run of the GFS and sort of push it forward a little bit more in time. Things get a little dicey here as you get toward day 6 and day 7, but this may bring us a little more rain and snow here to parts of the Mid-South, maybe even into the Mid-Atlantic. It doesn't look like a huge storm. You've got a trough swinging through here with this system out here in the west that could bring some snow here, possibly into Oklahoma and Texas. We've still got some time before we get there, and your jet stream is pushed way to the north. I think that means warmer temperatures here as the weather pattern definitely starts to shift up. First of all, this weekend, you see your cold air really retreat here to the north, up across Canada. Now you've got this upper low spinning through the southwest. Again, that could bring you some of that rain, and that moves east. But overall, the trend would be for a trough to dig into Alaska with some ridging taking place across the country. And that means temperatures will be above average. And I think that could stick around heading into February. But there's still some differences here in some of the models. We'll fine-tune it as we get there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.